Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, it's the Ramble. Yeah, it's me, it's Alex, and we'll be here until midnight tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you knew it, but I have a son. And I found him after all these years. Now,
Hi, Dad. Happy Father's Day.
If anybody, that was last week, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm always late.
You know, I never had any kids.
Yeah.
Except for you.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to assume most people, it's been a few years, they might not remember or know who the hell I am. But can I just tell Alex what the story is from my perspective?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, you were on KMEL, and then you weren't in San Francisco. And there was a big ad in the pink section. I guess I was about 12 years old, and you were coming to the Quake. And so we're talking about August 23rd, 1982, right? Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And so you had the show, the live.
Now, what year are you saying this is?
1982.
Yeah, 1982 would be about right. Yeah.
And I'm a little kid, and I used to listen to you on KMEL, and I always kind of wanted it. Everybody wants it on the act, right?
Yeah.
And so when you moved to the Quake, I said, I'm going to call him and tell him that he's my dad. And the nice thing that worked out for me.
And how old were you at this time?
Now I'm 13.
You were 13?
Yeah. Okay. And you're doing your show 6 to 10.
Yeah.
And I call you up and I say, and I think what I did right was I stuttered a little bit and I was nervous. And I said a lot of ums and that. And you were going, what is this about? And I said, my mom says you're my dad. Now, the nice thing was you got really kind of nervous. You started doing a little math. But Irene, your producer, said, what year were you born? And I tell her. And she said, okay, he was in Houston. He just got out of the Navy. And when I went down to the studio, she gave me your picture from the Navy. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
So I showed up and I had a picture of you from the Navy. And that's when you really got nervous. But so I think I called you for about a month telling you that you were my dad and you were hanging up. And people are going, you should have that kid down there. And you said, he's probably a 40-year-old midget. I'm not gonna have him down. Yeah. And then I showed up one day, and then you had me on there with.
And you were a 13-year-old midget.
Yeah, I was 13, and I still had hair. So, I didn't show you. I have a terrible haircut, but I remember I had hair when I first came down there to your studio.
Yeah.
And then I got alopecia.
Yes, you did.
Then my hair all fell out, and that's when you started to think maybe I was your kid because I was 13 and I was bald-headed. But yeah, so that's my memory of how it all happened. And some guy put up some old audios of your show, like the anniversary show from '83.
Yeah,
and like Kevin Pollak and the whole cast of Who's Who was on.
Yeah. Oh,
and I go, I'm trying to find and then I go, who's that girl? And I realized that I guess my testicles hadn't dropped yet. And I sounded a little higher than my sister on your show. But I was an obnoxious I didn't realize how obnoxious I was when I was 13, 14 years old.
You were terrific. You were terrific. And everybody used to then think of you as my son.
Yeah.
Even though I knew better that you couldn't possibly be. Yeah.
Well, I called you later. I called you at the end of the 90s, and I'll tell you why. I called you on your phone, and I think you still had a phone in the marina, and you still had your San Francisco number.
Yeah, right.
And
I always stayed listed in the phones.
Right.
Because I felt that it made me accessible to people. And believe it or not, people kind of respected that. They didn't just call me out of a clear blue sky and say, "Hey, Alex, I wanted to say hello." You know,
Right.
Very rarely did that ever happen, and all the time I stayed listed. You know,
Right. Well, I used to have people around town who, I guess because you had the studio audience, they actually knew what I looked like. So I'd be at the store or wherever, and people would know me. But later in LA, way later, I went to a tech show at the LA Convention Centers. This is 1999, and you were doing your tech show then. And all of a sudden, at the LA Convention Center, people were coming, "Hey, you're Alex's son." And it was years later. So I went home and I called you that night, and I says, "Hey, this is really weird." But that's the last time you and I spoke, was about 1999.
Wow, that's a long time ago, James.
Yeah.
But I do remember about the fact that you lost your hair and you were a bald-headed kid, which, you know, if you look at comic strips, is not unusual. I mean, does Charlie Brown have hair? He has just a little squiggle. Sluggo in Nancy and Sluggo, right?
Ziggy?
Yeah. So, you know, bald-headed kids aren't unusual in comic strips, but in life, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, the other thing is, well, you can see how pasty I am, but the other thing that happened to me when I was going to your show, I was 15, and what happened was the sun came up one day, and it got my whole family, like a white people drive-by, like everybody in I went to the hospital for 3 days with the worst sunburn, and I had been calling you every day, and my brother brought me a radio at Kaiser, and I heard you going, "Oh, I wonder what happened to James." So I called you, and the doctors, I knew I had a bad sunburn because they were bringing in other doctors to see the blisters, and it was terrible. And so the radio's there, and they're doing some tests on me. They don't know I'm on.
Are you part albino or something?
I think so, yeah. Like, who's Pearl's favorite guy? Johnny Winter? I'm like one of the winners, you know, Jimmy Winter.
Yeah.
But so I'm at the hospital, and that's your prime demographic. I don't know if you know that, but the Kaiser people, I guess they work at 7 a.m. So I'm sitting there in the hospital with the radio waiting to go on, and I call you. Pearl was your guest that day. And I call up and I say, "Hey, I'm in the hospital with a sunburn." And Pearl says, "Kaiser, sunburn, take x-rays." And everybody starts laughing, but the doctor realizes I'm on the radio. He brings in some nurses, and all of a sudden they're all listening. And it was all the comics on your show were saying bad things about Kaiser.
Well, you know, I always love Bubbles' line about Kaiser.
What was it?
Well, actually, he lost them as a sponsor of his traffic reports.
Really?
One day he said, "Yes, we're brought to you by Kaiser, better known as Doctor-Assisted Suicide."
Well, yeah. Then after that, at the hospital, they were all coming in. "This is Alex's son," and yeah. So now I'm paying the price for that sunburn. I think my nose is falling off and all that. But
your nose is. What do you mean your nose is falling?
Well, I mean, I got, you know, Irish people. My dad told me, my real dad. He said my grandmother got carved up in her 80s. He got carved up in his 70s. So he told me I'm going to have to get my face all carved up. You know, what do you call it? The skin cancers. And all that kind. But whatever, I don't care.
Well,
So anyway, that's my story with you, Alex. And then after that, I had a kid pretty young. You know, I had a kid.
Yeah, let's find out what happened since then.
Yeah. Okay.
It's how many years now? 82? Did you?
40. It's 40 years.
40
Alex.
years.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 54.
54.
Yeah. When I called you in LA, you said, "Wait, how old are you?" Oh, that makes me very old. But now I'm as old now as you were when I called you back in '99.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. You're right.
Time marches on. Oh, I'm sorry to hear your friend Shecky, that's your best friend, passed. Is that right?
Yeah.
I was listening to your show and you were talking about that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. You know, it's been hard for me.
I bet. Yeah.
You know, and it's the worst. I told somebody the other day, it's maybe the worst death I've had to deal with, even including my father's at 59.
Right.
This really bothered me because, I mean, this guy was 67. I had just weeks earlier, he talked about a will he had, and, you know, and I was in it and whatever. And I said, "Well, thank you. That's very much, very nice of you. But, you know, you're going to outlive me. I'm 83. Right. You're 67. just promise me you'll talk at my memorial, right?
Right.
And that was like 2 weeks before he died.
Right.
You know,
right.
And so the last thing I expected was that. You know,
Right,
that
right.
that just wasn't in the cards.
Right,
He had
right,
some
right.
medical issues that I knew about. But so therefore, when it happens like that, and it's somebody who's that close to me, I knew him for 45 years, it just, the impact is unbelievably unrelenting, you know? So,
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. My dad died 2 years ago, right about now. He lived 88 years, 8 months, and 8 days. And the night before he died, I was sitting, he was two floors below me here in San Francisco. And I went in to see him. And then all of a sudden he got up and he looked like he was going to get sick. He said he didn't feel well. So we got him on the phone with the advice nurse, and she gave him whatever advice she got. So the next morning he died, and I called the advice nurse back and I says, "Hey, what's your batting average this week?" It just went down. But anyway, yeah, the good thing about it was it wasn't like a long period of,
yeah, but there's also one other factor. He was 88. So it was something
exactly.
you expected was going to happen eventually.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like I'm at that age where every day I wake up and I go, well, I guess I'm still alive. You know?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you just, but when somebody's 67
Yeah.
and you expect that they're going to be here
Sure.
long after you're gone, you know, he's
Sure.
going to be mourning me, not the other way around. When
Sure.
that happens, you really get impacted by it, you know?
Yeah. No, that
Yeah.
is. that
So
is
anyway,
true.
so what happened once you left being my son?
Okay, so I left being your son,
yeah,
and now I'm down at UC Santa Cruz, and my girlfriend, who happens to still be my girlfriend, she's upstairs.
Wait a minute, hold on. How old were
Yeah.
you then? How old were you when?
I was 20. This is
Wait a minute. So she's
yeah.
been your girlfriend for about 44 years. I mean, 24
no
years.
way more complicated than that. We got back together 10 years ago after we raised the kid. So two houses.
Wait a minute. Well, I think we're jumping ahead here.
Yes.
So you had a girlfriend,
Yes.
the same woman that's letting
Here
you
now.
use her computer.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had a girlfriend, and
Yes.
what? She got pregnant.
You got pregnant.
Okay.
And I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and nobody had a kid yet. You know, my parents were very Catholic kind of people. So I came back home and I said, I'm having I actually had to wait for them to come home and tell them that I knocked up my girlfriend. And they walked in the door, and I says, gee, my dad says, what are you doing here? My mom says, Linda's pregnant. And I said, oh, she had an intuition because she had seen her at a wedding the week before, and she was sick. And my mom had enough kids, she knew that I had knocked somebody up.
Yeah.
So it took the pressure off there. So we raised our daughter. She's now 33. And isn't that something? I mean, time marches on.
Yeah.
So we raised her partly in San Francisco, partly in LA. And here's the thing. At your show, when I'm 15, Dana Carvey is sitting there with me, right? On the show. And he says, do you do stand-up? And I said, no. He says, you should. And this is a funny thing.
And you were a little kid. You were 13 at the time, right? Or
Yeah,
14?
I was about 15 maybe then.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He said, oh, you should. And then he's Dana Carvey. When I'm raising my daughter, I would see Dana on TV, and I go to my daughter, hey, that guy right there, he says I should do stand-up, you know. And my daughter, you should, you know. And I'm glad I didn't at that time because I had to raise a kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I sold cars, I sold Mercedes, crap like that.
Wait,
now
wait,
my daughter
I love
gets-
the way you put that. I sold Mercedes crap like that.
crap like that. Yeah, that was a marketing tool. But so then,
What do you mean
my
it was a
daughter
marketing
somehow-
tool? You said to the person you were trying to sell the car to, hey, you want to buy a piece of crap?
Yeah, you want to be? Yeah, here we got tons of crap in the back. Well, so then I raise her.
Yeah.
Then now I want to do stand up. So I write Durst. I get Durst's email, and he was always so nice to me, you know.
Yeah.
He was such a gentleman. And when I would be on your show, of course there were some comics who were going to be at the punchline that night, and they're going, what's this effing 14-year-old on here wasting a mic for? I got a show to plug, you know. But Durst was the guy who was like, here, get over here, kid, step into the mic. And he was a gentleman, you know. And so I write him a note. He says, you're gonna get into comedy after 40, or this is a gag. He wouldn't believe it. Anyway, he gave me great advice though, because if you're gonna do it, here's what you do. And he told me what comics do. So I go out to these lowly open mics like you do, right?
Right.
You go to the lowest place you can find. And sure enough, I start running into people from the show back in the day. And they're kind of, now I'm 40, I'm still bald and I'm a little crustier, but they're looking and they're going, is that 15-year-old kid, but older? So Al Cleaton, I run into him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go to a show one day and Steve Pearl's on the bill down in Pacifica. And I thought, to me, Pearl, I mean, you had all these people on.
Right.
But to me, when I was a kid, I thought Pearl was like God. I was like, that's what I want to be.
That's what you want to be. Yeah.
I wanted to be Steve or Slayton, and now all of a sudden I'm at a show with Pearl.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting that you said those were your two models, and yet they're two entirely different types of comics.
They are.
I mean, I describe Bobby as the last of the Borscht Belt comedians. I mean, he's got that kind of delivery. And on the other hand, Pearl is like a riff master. He's just top of his head, boom, 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 just synapses firing. Yeah. So it's interesting. It would be interesting.
One show with Pearl, I mean, there was 9 people in the audience, and I go, what are we supposed to do? But Pearl came out, he picked up the mic stand, he went to the front people, he just went wacko. And I always thought about that after that. I go, Pearl showed up like it was a full house where there was 9 people, and actually destroyed. And those were the kinds of things to watch people like that doing stand up, and for me to be a kid and watch through the long term. I see these guys and go, this guy's good, this guy's great. But a lot of people, the 80s, that, for me at least, that was for you. It had to be too. That was a golden era in a way.
Yeah. So did you finally live out your dream of being a comic?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. In my dream, I never imagined being at Carnegie Hall or even like the Punchline. I kind of imagined in my dream, the dreams I would have. Mm-hmm. I'm in a small room, but I'm doing really well in a really small, crappy room. And it's kind of like that thing.
Hey, look at me. You're talking to somebody who's played Carnegie Hall.
You have, yeah.
I played Carnegie Hall, and I played the Punchline too. But anyway, go ahead. So.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? You did Breakfast with Bennett at the Punchline. Mm-hmm. But was it called the Punchline then?
Yeah, it was called the Punchline then.
And then Wolfgang's. What was next to it?
Well, next door to it was a thing called, I think it was called the Waldorf.
The old Waldorf. Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, you had me come be on that show when I was a little kid, and Dick Bright was there. You had those elaborate shows. And actually, for my music, well, here's the thing. I should say. So the whole time I wasn't doing comedy, I was doing music, and I guess things come to me easier. It's easier than comedy. Music is easier than stand-up, at least as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, I was doing music the whole time, but my dream is to do stand-up. So then I run into Larry, and I run into a few other people from our old circle, and they all help me. They go, "There's this kid, but I'm an old man now."
Well, he's the one that recommended I do this thing with you.
Yeah. And we have a mutual friend, Larry and I, and we go out to lunch, and then we go over to the Throckmorton and we see whoever's playing over there. Mm-hmm. And so these guys got me on the New Year's show right before the pandemic at the Throckmorton. Mm-hmm. And I show up, and everybody, Ruben was on, and Rick Overton and Pitta and Larry and Mort Saul opened the show. Mort Saul was still alive.
And you were on that bill?
I was on that bill, and I want to send it to you because everybody else you recognize, and then there's my name standing out is where'd he come from? And so I guess I was supposed to do 8 minutes, but the guy didn't give me the light, and I think I did 13, and I'm shitting my pants up there after 10, and I'm just pulling crap out of and I'm and I'm waiting for the light. But I think I had. I'll send you my video from that night. I think I had a good show, and anyway, that is that's what I wanted to do. Like I don't think I'm gonna make.
Are you still doing it?
So I take a 6 month break and I'm doing them all music. And then at the Throckmorton about 2 weeks ago, 2 people didn't show up, and they go, "Oh, the headline, 2 people didn't make it." And one of the guys comes up and he says, "Hey, can you do 8 minutes?" And it's been about 6 months because I've been doing other things. And I looked, and this being my dream, right? And I looked, I said, "Right now?" They said, "No." And I had about 2 minutes to go jump up on stage, no notice. And I said no, which was weird. But what was I going to do? Go up there and eat shit? I didn't want to do that in front of a full house either. So,
right.
But no, I kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I have nothing but the greatest respect for comedians, because that's a rough gig.
Yeah,
I mean, I never considered myself a stand-up, and I didn't want to be. But occasionally I had to get up on stage at, say, the Holy City Zoo when there were 3 people in the audience. And that 3 people in the audience scares the living daylights out of me. I've appeared, when I did my comedy shows at the Frost Amphitheater, I appeared before 9,000 people and didn't even, sweat it in the least. Right. Because for some reason, and people say, well, why are you afraid of 3 people, but you're not afraid of it 9,000? And I said, because 9,000 people are just this mural, where 3 people in the audience, they could jump up on stage and pull you off.
Right. I mean, no, I agree 100%.
Scary. It's very scary.
Yeah. And can you see over my head? I got a plaque right there. I did when I was in a contest and I won something. Oh, I had to go. It was maybe like 38 people I went up against there, Alex. And I got that little thing next to the guitar back there.
Really?
It said I beat other people and they felt bad and I felt good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I got to tell you, though, I think stand-up is, at least things I've tried in my life, it's so hard and it's rewarding, but man, it's I don't think there's anything harder than it.
Take the hat off a second. Let's see. Yeah, well, you got the hair back, right?
Oh yeah. So that's another weird. With the alopecia, it can come and it can go. Now, I started shaving it on your show back in that time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember that, but when I first shaved it, I came to your show with a gorilla mask on. And you said, "Kid, take the mask off." And you came over and you pulled the mask off, and I was bald, and the audience went crazy. But you were like, "What the hell is this one?" Lately I've been throwing a hat on.
Quickly, we only got about 3 minutes left here. But let me ask you, the girl that you're living with now, or the woman you're living with now,
yes,
is the woman who had your child many years ago. And
yes.
So you've been back together for the last 10 years.
Yes, that is correct.
But you never got married.
We never got married. She has 2 other children that are also adults now, and so in the interim, she had 2 more kids, and then they're kind of like people I care about. I don't know what you call them, but they're people I care about.
Yeah.
And they live here too. And so I don't know. It's a happy ending to I wouldn't tell people to go out at 20 and knock somebody up, but it really, when I look back,
it turned out okay.
It turned out okay.
Yeah, it turned out fine. That's terrific. That's really that's a nice little story.
Yeah.
And then you were away from each other for how long?
For the whole time raising my daughter, so about, we're talking over 20 years.
And then 20 years later, you get back together again.
We got back together, yeah. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's just one of those happy ending, but it was, of course, it's tough to have a kid early. Or anytime, but I guess.
Well, this is really nice catching up with you. In fact,
you too.
Somewhere around here, I have a picture of you.
You do? Oh, man.
Yeah,
man.
Somebody sent me of you just sitting at the microphone.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And you don't look any different.
Oh, yeah, I'm about the same. Well, I just want to tell you, I appreciate the front seat that you gave me. Mm-hmm. As I mean, they don't, that's not available in stores. They don't have a place where you can go sit with all these who's who comics like you gave me.
Well, it was a lot of fun. And when Bubbles said, "Hey, you should have this guy on. He's actually interesting, and fun." And I said, "Okay, I'll do it. I'll give it a shot."
Yeah.
But I just always wondered what happened to you. And every now and then somebody will say, "What about your son James?" you know.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it was like a running gag on the show. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's great to see you after all these years, and we'll have to maybe do this again. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
This
no,
is really
definitely,
nice.
definitely. I mean, so great
Yeah.
to see you. And you keep doing what you're doing. I watch you all the time, and I think it's great.
Well, as long as I'm still above above room temperature, I'll keep doing it. But
Yeah.
anyway, hey, listen, stick around so I can just say goodbye to you. But this is James Gleason, ladies and gentlemen. He was James, my son, on the radio show in San Francisco.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for still being there and remembering me. You know.
Oh man,
That's
you're
terrific.
big.
Okay, thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Alex.
Bye bye.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yes, and that is our son. That's our son. After all these years, folks, he's our son. Anyway, it's time to talk to our audience and talk to our callers and see who's out there and who wants to catch up with me. Let me see here. I got to do a little adjusting here, though, first, before we go any further. It's just, you know, I just want to, let me see here. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. And then down a little bit. There we go. And now we're centered and all of that. All right, let's get our people in here. Admit all. The all is only about 3 people, but, you know, who knows? More may call as the evening goes on. Oh, here comes Alan as well. Okay. And there's
catch up with me.
Oh boy.
Let me see here.
Jeff.
No, Phil.
I think he killed it. Yeah, I think he killed
No,
it.
my can you hear me? My video's not on. I'll
It must be that new expensive machine you bought.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me leave and come back.
Okay. He'll leave and come back. Let me see here. There's Alan. There's Charles.
Hello, hello.
E equals MC squared. That's pretty easy to understand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, right?
Yes, sir.
See? You didn't think
Good
I was a
physics.
nuclear physicist, huh?
Yeah, but look who's got helping him.
What?
He's using Einstein to do the work.
Well,
Yeah.
how much of Einstein has been debunked?
None.
None? Really?
None.
Because I had heard some of it was questioned, brought into question. It seemed he was right so far.
So far.
And they were
I
basically,
think I think
they were
Trump
questioned.
questioned him.
what?
Trump questioned him. Does Trump
Is
know
that your
more?
Trump comment for tonight?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Well, maybe we'll be lucky, and Phil Meyer will join us with more trumpet things.
Trumpet?
Trumpet, yeah.
Trumpet things.
But it's what my roommate calls a small turd in the toilet.
Great. We just got. See,
Sorry.
Lately, I've been trying to not get demonetized by not saying anything dirty on the show. Right?
Okay,
And I
I'll watch-
still get
I'll wa-
and I still get demonetized.
I'll watch my mouth.
But I still get demonetized by those son of a bitches. Ah, see, I didn't say anything.
Now they're going to take that and say, "Yep, you're no money for you this week."
No money for you this week, right? Yeah, no, they did me. Let me see here. They did about 3 times last week, and all the shows were clean.
I think what you ought to do is charge all your people, like the 3 of us and whoever else comes in, $5 a month, something like that.
Yeah,
And that way, when you get demonetized, at least you'll get something.
something. Yeah, something. Anyway, so how are you all doing?
I'm good.
Pretty good. I'm tired.
I'm tired too. I've been tired all the time.
Smoke for Alex, heat for heat.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't gotten the smoke yet. We're supposed to get it tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Chicago and Cleveland are socked in with
Yeah.
smoke. So.
Yeah.
Hey, call- mm.
Yep. But you know, I've been. I took a walk today. You know, and I was. It's not as easy as it once was. I think it's my feet, actually, from the neuropathy. You know what I'm talking about, right, Charlie?
Sure do.
You know, it just seems my feet are weak. It's not the legs; it's the feet. So you know, it's what the hell. And I also take this drug, this pregabalin, which. Do you take gabapentin at all, Charlie?
No, I took it for about 10 years, but then my nerves completely died, so they took me off it. Anything to do.
Yeah, you didn't need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm taking the gabapentin, and I'm sorry, I'm always lightheaded until about maybe 7 o'clock at night, when the pill I take at night wears off.
Ah,
You see. So I don't know, but. I just want to be able to walk like I used to. I used to go for huge, gigantic walks, but I've been trying a mile every day. So, you know,
That's pretty good.
that's something. You know, it's something. So I wonder what happened to Phil. I guess it's that whole new expensive machine that isn't working, huh?
Probably.
Oh boy. Well, I bought the cheaper one. Never gives me any trouble. So,
he had the one up.
yeah.
And now there's a newer one, right?
Oh yeah, there's a new one coming. There's a new one out already.
The M3 chip.
Oh,
is
here he
coming out.
comes. Let's see here. How many any bets on whether we get a picture out of Phil or not? Let's see here.
No bets.
We'll see here. We'll see. There we go. Oh, there we go. Huh. Okay. What was your problem, Phil?
I tried to put a video in as my background, and it didn't work.
You can't put a video in as your background.
Well, yeah, it says add video.
Oh, I can. Oh, yeah, I can. I used to do it. In fact, I do have some animated backgrounds, but you probably weren't using the right kind of animation.
No, it was. Yeah, I wasn't using.
The processor wasn't fast enough.
Nah, I don't think that was the problem. It's just that I didn't know what I was doing, and I don't know anything about video, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing about birthing no babies. Butterfly.
Where did that come from?
Butterfly McQueen. I don't know nothing about videos. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies. That was her only line in the movie.
No, that wasn't her only line in the movie.
Yeah. I think that was her only line.
And she was a superb actress, by the way, I might add.
Yeah.
You know.
Was it Butterfly McQueen?
Yes, Butterfly McQueen. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Pete McQueen's daughter? I don't know what.
Yeah. Well,
I
And
never-
his mother, because
I know you said the comedian and the kid that was on your show was your son, but his last name's Gleason. Maybe he was Jackie Gleason's son.
Don't laugh at that. Don't laugh at that. Charlie,
thought
shame
the
on
same
you.
thing, actually.
How sweet it is. Huh?
I mean, if he's going to be your own son, you should have at least changed his last name to Schwarzman or Bennett or something like that.
Nobody could spell it.
Do you remember him on the show?
No.
Oh, okay. He became a big deal.
I
on
only
the show.
really participated when you were at Camel and maybe.
To
for a
this
little
day,
while.
I get asked about a lot of people from time to time, but I will get asked about James.
Huh.
Whatever happened to your son James? You know. So
Yeah.
no, it was a good running.
Nobody asked, what about your friend Phil?
Nah.
Nobody remembers him.
I don't remember Phil. What do you mean? How are they
There you
supposed to? You know. But so anyway,
And they say senility's bad.
yeah. So Marjorie and I today, we watch these things. We got this guy here in New York, and his name is Cash Jordan. If you go on to YouTube and look up Cash Jordan, are you familiar with him? Anybody familiar with him?
What's his shtick?
What's his shtick? He goes and shows apartments in New York, that are for
Oh,
rent.
how much do you pay for rent? And then he goes in and he jumps on the bed and they get a tour of the apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very funny, you know. But also what we've gotten into, now that we're into those apartments, we go to the complete opposite end, and there's this guy named Enes, and I can't remember his last name. It's unpronounceable. He's Turkish. And he goes around the world and shows the most expensive homes. And, man, some of these places, my God.
So when is he going to visit your place?
Yeah, right. Excuse me, we had to throw the clothes under the bed since you were coming over to visit.
Oh, you had a bed?
Yeah. But we watch, you know, we get a big kick out of watching these homes. We like to watch the New York ones because we get to see where people are paying like $4,000 a month rent for 1/10 of what we have. Okay. Yeah. And then we like watching this other stuff that unless I win the lottery, I'm never going to be able to buy.
Did you see the one where the girl lives in an 80 square foot apartment?
Yeah,
in New York?
well, that's where we started with him. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's interesting what people make do with in New York City. And some of it is fairly inventive. I mean, there were a couple where people had done stuff where stuff came down off the side of the wall and things like that in order to make a 80 square foot apartment usable.
Yeah.
But I'm amazed at how many of these apartments are we seeing now that have built-in washing machines. That's the big new thing in New York City. Apartment, they'll take a closet and turn it into 2 washing machines.
Yeah.
You know, just to have washing machines in the apartment.
Wasn't that a big deal in West Side Story play and movie also?
Yeah. Maria has a song in there about wanting a washer and dryer. Yeah.
So, you got anything you want to talk about tonight?
Not particularly, no. I just want to get this over with and go to sleep.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know how controversial you want to get. I heard this thing this morning about Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, her lady, she decided to double down on nobody wanting to have anything to do with her.
Well, you know, she also pointed out how the media takes these clips and makes a story out of context that isn't true. And what she said, I heard the whole thing in context. And what she said was
well, let me tell you what I heard that she said. She just put down Jews. That was it. Now, how she can do that, I don't know, because Roseanne happens to be Jewish.
Jewish, yeah.
You know.
Right.
Then again, we could say she knows better than anybody.
They made it sound like she was a Holocaust denier. And really what she was talking about in a very sarcastic way was that she said, you know, like the way she would say it, like Biden got 81 million votes. She was being sarcastic. She said it was reported that he got 81 million votes, and she says that's like saying nobody died in the Holocaust. She says people blame the Jews and say if 6 million Jews died, that would solve the world's problems. And then she said she was talking about how people believe things that aren't true. And she was being sarcastic, and she was definitely taken out of context because I saw the video.
Okay.
It was on TMZ.
It's the first video or newscast you've seen in 5 years.
Well, I decided not to get challenged, so, you know.
Right. Very good. Very good.
You know.
Very good.
So she was saying that you can't question things. She says that if you question that the election was rigged, all right, you would be taken off Twitter, you would be taken off Facebook, you would be taken off YouTube.
There are things here now on YouTube I cannot talk about.
Right.
If I talk about them, I could get a big ding put against me.
She said,
and I won't even say it and say, well, here's an example of what I can't say, because if I say that, their algorithms will then find that one statement, take it out, and then,
I won't get you in trouble, but she said that you can't say the C word. You know, it starts with C and ends in D, and it was that it started. She says if you say it started
in D, I don't know. Wait a minute. C and ends in D.
Yeah, it's a terrible flu that everybody had for 3 years.
Oh, COVID.
Well, I wasn't going to say it. I didn't want to get you in trouble. So,
well,
she says if you said that, that this disease started in a lab in Wuhan, they would
hold on a second.
Which one? Or all devices? What's this?
It's just Echo. Stop. For some reason, it decided to just start talking at me.
Oh.
What were you going to say, Charlie?
She said one more thing that was controversial, and let's take it. She said people say Jews control Hollywood, but this was funny. She says if the Jews didn't control Hollywood, all you'd have is fishing shows, and and
now,
she
that's
goes on.
funny. That's funny.
Yeah, Roseanne Barr is funny, and what she did, she was taken out of context, and they made her a pariah in the last day. That, if you look at almost every newscast now, I don't like Holocaust deniers. I don't like Nazis and that kind of stuff.
I'm glad you're against Nazis. Then how do you equate that with being liking Trump? Charlie has his hand up.
Say that the 80,000 IRS agents that Biden wants is the same thing as the brown shirts that the Nazis used. But she also said that she goes on to say that Hollywood Jews don't like Jews like her because she speaks out and tells the truth. So anyway, that was the topic that I thought was interesting, how the media is there's very few outlets that are reporting this honestly.
Okay, Charlie got his hand up, and I don't want he has.
Yeah, it'll fall off.
Diabetes, and the arm might fall off if it sits up there too long. Yes.
I just want to point out to Phil that nobody is saying you can't question anything. What we're saying is when you question something and then it's looked into and found not to be true, you can't keep questioning it after that. You have to accept facts.
Yeah, I think, though, that what Phil was bringing up here is one of my gripes is like YouTube. While I don't think I would believe and say anything that they would be upset with, in spite of the fact that they were upset with something because somebody quoted somebody else on my show, and then they said their algorithm said, and also they let me know this 2 years later. They let me know 2 years later. But that there is a certain silence you have to have about certain topics. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to stay on YouTube. Right. And I especially found that while I was against anybody who denied how dangerous COVID was, I think that it was open for discussion, even by those people who didn't believe in the, what it was all about. Right. And I don't think that if you're going to have an open forum, as YouTube is, a kind of electronic Hyde Park, that you should stop anybody from saying anything unless it is harmful to other people. In other words, it causes harm. And then I think you can then say, hey, you can't say that, all right? But beyond that, I mean, when you have something like COVID, I thought that the people who were deniers of COVID were hurting people and killing people by their actions, and I thought that was terrible, just terrible. And I do not like people who are, Holocaust deniers. But I'm not going to stop them from saying it. I don't think it should be stopped from being said. It's a belief certain people hold to, even though they're morons to hold to it, But I don't like the fact that YouTube, which would like you to think that they are a bastion of free speech, or Twitter, which they'd like you to think is a bastion of free speech, well, you can say anything you want to except. Well, I'm sorry, that's not free speech. And I feel that I'm walking on eggshells here because I got a warning based on something that wasn't even said on my program. When they went back and listened to it, they held up the warning because they didn't listen to everything that went before it and after it. And everything is context, you know? And in that case, it was context because somebody was saying something about somebody who said something about COVID. And it was on Fox and how horrible Fox was to say it. But they only took the quote, and that's the thing they ding me on. And I can't go. I've tried to have recourse on it. I asked for them to go back and look at it. They looked at it and said it still holds. Well, they went to the algorithm which spit back the statement. Okay, right. Not what went on before it and after it. And there's no way for me to dispute it. They say your disputes on this matter are no longer available. What? You know, I'm thinking of starting accounts in about 10 different names and then doing some things that just drive them crazy. Yes.
They'll never be monetized.
So Facebook, 2.5. I posted something 2.5 years ago, and about 3 months ago, or 4 months ago, something like that, they said it goes against their policy. And if you accept this, say yes. If you don't, say no. And I said, well, no, it was something real stupid. And, so they said, fine. So your account's gone. Goodbye. And that was it. Just like that. And I went, my Facebook account got compromised twice in that month. And so I didn't fight that because I just didn't give a shit anymore.
So are you on Facebook anymore?
I only with we have a family account, only family, no friends, no nothing, just family members here in Chicago and in Europe and blah blah blah. But it's family only, so I can see, like I can go on your page and look without much problem, Alex, and see what's going on. That's how I watch Shecky's memorial. But in any case, I was thinking about restarting another one and under.
Well, I'm so mad at YouTube, for instance, that I would like to stop using them. But what else do I use? What has the reach that YouTube has? And so therefore, I'm kind of I'm kind of caught by the balls here when it comes to something like YouTube, you know.
And you know what? They're saying things like Instagram that and that they're being used for pedophiles, and they don't take that down. This is some of the claims. I guess there are some groups that sell pictures and so forth.
I've never seen that.
Well, I don't look at that stuff either, but it has been reported.
Bill is on Twitter to find his porn, not Instagram. Twitter's the same way, though. In reality, I have a Twitter account, and sometimes things pop up, and it's way underage stuff. Why don't they get that stuff off? I'm not even looking for porn, and things will just pop up, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I turn it in, and they don't do anything.
By the way, hello to Brian Neary, who has joined us from, I think you're down in L.A. somewhere.
Marianne. Yeah, San Diego.
San Diego.
That the Marine.
The Mexican border behind you.
Yeah, that's downtown San Diego.
Oh.
Downtown San Diego. Okay.
Are the migrants coming over?
Yeah, they'll have Trump flags.
That's why they don't want them here.
Yeah. But anyway, hello, Brian. Oh, by the way, Brian, you're absolutely right. We had a little thing today, and I said, Marjorie kept saying, we're in the last chapter of our life, and I said, what comes after the last chapter? And then I said the table of contents. Actually, that's in the beginning. I should have said either the index or the bibliography. Somebody else suggested.
Yeah.
So.
The epilogue.
I'm glad you read my comment.
Yeah.
I always miss you guys when you're out there, but
yeah. That,
we thought maybe you were hanging out with Trump. Your picture, your face.
I didn't get a good video of it today, but over they have a pond right near where we were doing our video, and there were some Canadian geese in the pond, little mama and their little ducklings and daddy. They're all getting a little big now. They're growing up and so on. Hi.
Oh, Adrian's with you. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and all of a sudden I noticed one of the geese is just going quack 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 quack, just complaining like crazy. And we look over, and some dog had jumped into the pond and was chasing the geese. It was wonderful to see. The geese were better than he was, so they just flew away.
Well, we have the soccer fields across the street from our house, and there's a bunch of geese that land there, and they're eating there all the time. And it says no dogs, but the neighbors still bring their dogs, and the dogs are chasing all the geese around.
Yeah. But
yeah, so we're here in San Diego for her national honors. So so she performed today. She had classes yesterday and today, and then she performed today for the.
Look at all the makeup on her eyes. It looks so good.
Oh yeah, she's oh wow.
God, she looks like she's about 15.
Yeah,
she did awesome, and there's a lot of competition like Utah, Arizona, all over. So it's really impressive. They did a really good job.
Well, good. Congratulations, Adrian.
Did you win first place?
The awards are at 10 o'clock, so I'll call in the show then.
Yeah. Well, if she doesn't win, just declare that the election was stolen.
Yeah, I'll tell everybody it's rigged.
It's rigged. Yeah.
What do you got to pay off to win?
Yeah. So anyway, so you're sitting out on the veranda or the balcony.
Yeah, the 5-foot balcony. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice down here, but it's I think everywhere just so expensive to travel. Even though we drove, but it's the food and everything's just crazy expensive.
That's a pretty nice patio you're on for a Motel 6.
That's
This is a Sheraton. Actually, it's really nice though.
Yeah.
You could go to Tijuana in about a half hour, and the cartels have subsidized buffets, so you can eat a lot cheaper in Tijuana.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
We'll hit that on the way home.
Yeah, really. He's probably got a very expensive car with him, and in 5 minutes flat, the only thing that would be left is the rims in Mexico. Phil always thinks about others.
It's funny because we've seen a couple of cars from Mexico that are like different cars that we see in the U.S. So it's pretty neat.
Newer Volkswagen Bugs and things. Like
MG was that MG? Yeah, because
MG
produced in Mexico, and then there's like some kind of minivan is pretty neat, but it's totally different.
When I was a kid and we were all starting to buy cars and stuff, that was the sports car every kid wanted was an MG.
That's what I had in high school.
Really?
MGA,
See?
1960.
Yeah.
But
what did MG stand for?
Morris Garage.
Very good.
But MG, the name was bought by a Chinese company, and the MG is now being made in China.
Oh, here we go, racist joke here. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tony's gonna jump in.
Come on.
I ordered Chinese food tonight.
It's not a joke.
And the airport's right there. The airport's right here, and downtown's right there. So there goes another airplane. Bye.
Yeah, the fun thing about the airport in San Diego is it flies when they're landing. They come in right between downtown the buildings. It is. I'm waiting for one to crash into one of the downtown buildings.
Yeah, we took a corner, and all of a sudden there's a plane like coming right at us.
The street that my father used to live down there, the street that runs right at the end of the landing or whatever is called Laurel.
Yeah.
Yep, still there, and it is scary. You can almost reach out and touch the wheels of the landing gear coming down. It's a pretty scary street. The only major accident they had was a 1970 something or 1980 something. A PSA 727 hit a Cessna in route to, and they went down.
Well, there was nothing left of the Cessna, I would imagine. By the way, speaking of damage, did anybody see the pictures of the what do you call it, of the submersible?
They
They brought it up to the surface.
They actually brought some up, huh? Okay.
Yeah, they brought
What's
them up.
left?
Well, I have to look at that instead of getting on
Oh,
the
they
other
were-
section.
It was the size of a cigar.
No. When it imploded, I mean, all the stuff, there were the panels from the side of it and things like that. You know, I don't know if they got all of it because it may have been spread over a larger area than they were, you know, checking out. But they got it. You know, they got the stuff. I mean, that's amazing. I guess they just go down there with some kind of hook or something and just bring the stuff up.
I didn't realize they had it up. I heard that they found parts and maybe body parts too.
No, I don't think they found body parts.
No?
I think an implosion like that, there's probably nothing left of those people.
The interesting thing is if the material that they bring up, if they can test it, which of course they will, if there's explosive material on there, which sometimes happens, maybe one of the people that got on board with them brought a bomb with them. No. So maybe it wasn't an implosion.
Where did you hear that one?
Oh, God, what
on Fox News today.
Fox?
Yes, it was on Fox News. Said somebody might have brought a bomb. It may not have imploded. It may have exploded.
And why would they do
Well,
that?
I don't know. Ask
By the
Fox.
way, tonight I was watching a thing that National Geographic had on going back to the Titanic, and it was about one of those expeditions in a submersible. And when you compare this submersible to that one,
Yeah.
it's the difference between night and day.
Yep.
So it's totally different. Yeah.
It's starting out with like a 2-inch titanium hull.
Yeah.
Wasn't
All right.
Cameron's tethered to the surface?
What?
I thought Cameron's submersible was tethered to the surface.
Not that I know of.
It wasn't
I
a
haven't heard
free going thing. It had a cable.
He didn't take passengers. He was there
No,
alone.
one person.
He goes down by himself. This guy went down by himself too, but there were seats for two. And then the second time they went down, there were two of them in there. But I mean, all the electronics and everything else, you know, I mean,
It was different.
yeah, just like night and day between that
It'd be like,
and
I'm still,
it's kind of like you know, kids who have these phony cars with little pedals on them, you know, to make them
Or a
go,
big wheel.
and an actual car. I mean, that's the difference. It was insane. It was insane this thing was even ever let to go down there.
Yep.
You know, and supposedly the guy who owned the company didn't want anybody to tell him that it wasn't going to work. You know, that's what would happen if Trump took you down in the.
halfway down to a half-ass machine. I knew we were going to die. $500,000 to blow up. I mean, come on. I mean,
He still
geez.
flies his own plane.
Oh,
No, he doesn't fly it. He's not in the pilot's seat, but he bought a plane for Trump Airlines, and that's the one he's transports himself in.
I wondered whether that was one of the Trump airline
That's so
planes.
good.
Has his name on
His name on the side.
Yeah, well, he has his name on the side of everything.
On the side of the plane.
There was a guy. We went to SeaWorld yesterday, and there was a guy in the audience across from us had the red hat thingy. Oh my god! I just
Oh, that takes nerve.
Really?
yeah.
Like Shamudi.
red hat thingy.
Bill, do you wear your "Make America Great Again" hat out in
Oh,
public?
that hat! I thought you were
Do
talking
you wear that in
about
public,
Shriners.
Phil? Do you wear that in
No,
public?
not in his neighborhood. He'd be shot.
That's definitely in the house.
Do you wear that in public?
I
In
don't.
public?
Yeah.
No, he
Yeah.
didn't.
I wore it in public once back when Trump started running in 16.
Mm-hmm.
But now
I
it's-
went to a Oakland Raiders game, and I got some pretty strange looks. I didn't wear it.
Wearing the black hole.
That's
You
the
would
kind-
wear it outside
I think
down.
that's the kind of hat. Put it on again.
Like a bullseye.
That's the kind of hat that people would wear if they were voting for Elmer Fudd.
Right. He kind of looks like Elmer Fudd. Yeah, yeah.
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 So anyway, what else is happening in the news? There's nothing else happening in the news.
Well,
Hey, Phil, mine's real.
you're what?
My background
Well,
Oh, that's a nice
mine
one.
was real too. I took the picture.
is not real now.
Not now, but it was when I took the picture.
Yeah. Yep. What are you pushing your daughter away for? What kind of father are you?
You
I
know,
pushed her off the balcony. It's okay. Don't worry.
Oh,
So
there you go.
what is that? Tabasco sauce?
Is that Tabasco sauce?
It's fingernail polish.
yeah, it's a little Tabasco sauce thingy
Oh, this
from the they have like food downstairs, and so she wants to drink it, and I said not before awards. You're gonna throw up all over the stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't try that, Adrian. It's a little on the hot side. I like it in scrambled eggs. I like it.
Yeah. I tell her no, and she thinks no is like for negotiation. And I said, no means no. It's not negotiation.
Tell her you're doing it for her own good. Oh, wait a minute, that never works either, does it?
No.
What was the Dr. Seuss with the eggs and ham?
Green
eggs and ham, yeah.
But no, so proud of her though. She's awesome. So happy. And she had a recital on Saturday. They had recitals, so there's like 4 other songs that I haven't seen before that they do. That they've been learning this last 6 months.
Is this singing or dancing?
Dancing, but they had like a lyrical song. So lyrical song is like, it was Adele, one of Adele's songs, and there's like 6 of the girls in really nice dresses, flowing dresses, and they do it, and she had a big part of it, and a couple other girls. So it's really, really, really fun.
We have time. Let her do it on the show.
Yeah, I'll hop over the stage here. Yeah.
So when's the awards tonight?
10 o'clock. Yeah, and another hour and a half.
Wait a minute, 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Are all the people involved in the performances her age?
Yeah, it's 12 and under.
12 and under, and they're keeping them up till 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, because it's national, so it's like a big special thing. So
Can we vote? Can we vote? We've got an hour and a half. Let's all get votes in.
No, but I am gonna yell. It's rigged.
What time does Adrian normally go to sleep?
The kids
they're so hyped up. They won't go to sleep tonight for a while. No. But then they have gotta deal with this. But then they have class tomorrow at 8 o'clock. In the morning for a couple hours, so yeah, they keep them really busy. I don't know how they learn all this stuff.
Now, school.
They had so she had 3 classes. Well, she went to 2 classes today, and those classes are for like an hour and something, and they all learn a new dance like jazz. Then they did contemporary, and then I know because you were in that class, but then they do. So tomorrow she'll have 3 other classes in the morning that they learn a whole new dance, and it's like crazy how much they learn. So.
Yeah.
Hey, it sounds like my high school career. I was lucky if I went to 2 classes a week.
Yeah.
And it shows.
But anyway, anybody seen any good movies lately?
Oh, I saw The Flash last week at the movie theater.
Oh, how was it?
I liked it. It wasn't great, but me and my brother liked it. It was good.
Yeah, it's not doing very good business.
I know. They seem like they're boycotting it because of the Flash actor, which I like him as an actor.
No, but it's not a boycott. It's just it's not doing good business.
Oh, really? Okay. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I mean, it wasn't great.
At the cheap rate, the Italian rate, $5 or something into the movie.
I haven't been to a movie since COVID.
I went to a movie a couple of weeks ago. What did we go? Oh, we went to see Asteroid City.
Oh, you saw Asteroids? That's right. Yeah. I'm going to see Indie Friday at 7. So me and my brother, so we're excited for that. I see every one of those then.
It'll be on Disney Plus and within a month or so. So I can wait.
I got an email today. Oh, Jeff wants to say something.
Yes, Jeff.
You don't say so. You're muted, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
My wife and I took a bike ride the other day, and I think we did 6 miles.
Oh God!
In Connecticut?
In Connecticut.
Oh my God! You drove completely around the state.
Was it hot? Was it hot outside? No.
It was nice.
Really?
It was reasonable. It was hot, but they have lots of trees and covering it up.
Yeah. And what did you do? Did you do paths or did you do roads?
No, it's a pre-designed road for people
Those are called
to go on
highways. Those are
bikes
called
or
highways.
walking or running.
Yeah.
Promenade.
Oh, so it's meant for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like right next to a little water that goes right by there. So
Really? Yeah.
yeah, I guess it was a canal at one time.
Yeah, we got bikes in our neighborhood, but they ride them on the sidewalks,
That's not right.
Mhm.
which is not right.
That way they can run over people, huh?
Yeah.
That-
Oh well,
that makes
they don't care. They don't.
They
care.
still
I'll
have
tell
those-
you what it is. Today was the last. They said 2 days, maybe yesterday and today, or today and tomorrow. There, all these people on what we call Little Africa, which is the street right up from us here, which has a lot of people from Africa, and they were all wearing the dashikis, the complete African garb, and it's because it's a holiday.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, prayer days or something like that. I can't remember what they told Marjorie. And they were all dressed up, man. It was really festive.
Little Africa. If that doesn't sound racist, I don't know
Well,
what
no,
does.
but I mean, we had Little Italy. Come on.
He's got
Yeah, I
one.
know.
That's not racist, is it?
I got an email today, and
Yeah.
the email said that my Paramount Plus was going up to $11.99.
What does
And
this got to
we're
do with
gonna
what we were
get
talking about?
Showtime. That so that they're raising the price and they're giving you Showtime. I
Oh.
didn't want Showtime, and so I went to
Cancel the whole thing.
where I had the subscription and I canceled it, and then I saw that I was paying $6 or $7 for another subscription that I never even tuned into. Canceled that.
What was it to?
M
MGM?
Oh, the AGM
yeah,
Plus?
MGM, I think. Yeah.
You actually pay attention to what you pay for?
No, I discovered it.
Apparently not.
No,
No, I mean it seriously. I mean, some of the talks we have about stuff that he buys and stuff like that. I mean, like $5 or $6 a month. Who cares?
well,
But him, he's got that new car.
I'm getting subscription to death. Everything's a subscription.
That's
Yeah.
true. It's getting
Adobe's a
replaced.
Yeah.
subscription. Microsoft is a subscription.
Yeah.
Everything's a subscription nowadays, and I'm just tired of getting worked.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well,
cancel
I
the credit
agree-
card
I
that all
agree
the
with you.
subscriptions are on.
That is it. You could do like Alan said.
I
Yeah.
have this
Well,
problem. I
Start
get
over.
What?
I get something that I want to watch because it's like an old movie,
Right.
and I put it on, and I figure it's blank. It's old,
Uh-huh.
50 years old. First thing I know is it says you owe us $8. I says,
Kiss my ass.
so now you try to stop it.
Right.
There's no stop button.
No.
Well, I go to you next, Tony. Paramount Plus, which I have had, and then they added Showtime, which, because I pulled the cord on everything,
Yeah.
I figured I'd get the Showtime with the Paramount Plus, and they only were going to charge me like $110 a year for that. So I said, okay, fine. But I mean, there are just too many of these things, and they're all starting to have trouble because, see, here's what you can do. You can say, okay, there's some kind of show coming on. I want to watch The Last of Us. So you subscribe to so you wait for it to play
Trial.
itself out, and then you subscribe to it, and then you watch what you wanted to binge watch, and then you cancel it. So at the end of the month, it cancels. So really, you can bounce back and forth between them. It's just a lot of people find that a pain in the ass
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
that.
I don't even, I think I must have watched something, and that's how I got that MGM thing, and thinking that it was free. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, I'm still getting billed for it.
Yep.
And it's in my Amazon thing. So
you,
I
you got to do this right.
Be
You
very
gotta do
careful.
this right.
Listen, everybody who's listening to me, be very careful. If you have like Roku, they'll want you to subscribe to MGM Plus because they get the credit for it, and then they make money off of you subscribing to MGM Plus. Sign on to something like MGM Plus through MGM Plus. Okay? Do not go through Amazon. Do not go through any of these other companies like Roku and so on who are offering it up, because quite frankly, why should they make the money? Why shouldn't the company that's supplying the service get all the money? Am I being...
They're being a portal, and they're providing a service too by being a conduit.
But they will do it. They will say like, oh, I want to watch such and such, and they will say, okay, well, click here. Well, you click there. Now you have subscribed twice.
Right.
Yeah.
To HBO Max, or
Yeah.
Max as it's called now, and don't do it. Just be very careful. Otherwise, you're going to be subscribing twice to Showtime or twice to, whatever. Because it doesn't say, oh, whoops, you've already got an account there. We can't sell it to you.
Life is so complicated for all that. I watch three things. I have Amazon Prime, which I use their delivery service all the time,
Yeah,
so I get
right,
that free.
right.
I have Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
My mother and I are splitting the bill, $3.99 a month for the very basic one.
You make her pay cash?
You take that money from your mom?
I pay for that, and she pays for Netflix, and we split that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We do Netflix, we do Hulu, which also gives us Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. We do HBO Max, or Max now as it's called, which I get for free because I'm an AT&T subscriber. Okay, let me see here. What else do we subscribe to? I can't remember now.
Are you paying more than when you had the regular cable?
No.
Yeah, I'm using.
I'm paying $90 a month for cable, for the internet, because I'm getting fast internet because I need it for this. Okay, and so consequently, I get this and I'm fine.
Well, you wouldn't need that fast internet if your computer was as fast as mine.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that.
Do you want to hear about? Do you want to hear about charges? You know the stupid hotel. Well, all these stupid hotels with the airplane ticket on.
Oh, is she getting in the mini bar?
No, there's no mini bars anymore here. You know what they wanted? They wanted $47 a day to park at the hotel.
Holy shit!
What?
Really?
$47 for your car staying at their hotel.
Is there a
Right.
parking
So
lot in
luckily-
there? Are there parking spaces
Yeah,
in their
it's-
hotel?
Yeah, it's all parking out here, and they charge you. So luckily, I got some communication through Expedia from this hotel, and it said that if you self park, it's $47, but then they said complimentary. And I said, why did they tell me the price? And they said complimentary. So whatever. So I got the manager when I registered in to the hotel, and I showed him that communication, and he goes, okay, good, it's complimentary. But everything else was telling me I had to pay. If you want to pay ahead of time, it's this. If you want to pay ahead of time, it's $47. And I'm like, how stupid. We remember back in the day, you go to a hotel and you stay in the parking lot. Where else are you going to stay? Where else are you going to park? Now they just charge for everything.
Are they charging for ice
Kind of
now?
like the rental car business has been doing for years.
Are they charging
No,
for ice now?
ice is still free.
Really?
Well, right now.
There's a resort fee at a lot of these hotels that you gotta pay a daily fee to get the newspaper.
Use the pool. Yeah.
And Alex, I thought of you today because we went downtown to the Gas Lamp District, which is terrible now. It's a lot of homeless and just a bunch of kids down there. But they had the park, the parking in the front of the store. They had it all blocked off for eating. And so when you go downtown, it's all eating in the parking spots on the street. and they've been there since COVID probably, and they still have them there. So they've increased their capacity, and then they have a 4% charge for restaurants downtown.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cost of
Denny's is looking
Because of
better.
COVID, where they're still making all this money off of COVID because they have extra seating for their place.
Denny's is looking better. I'll look up the address for you.
Get the Grand Slam.
Yeah, but I mean, it's getting ridiculous all the way around. But when we getting back to just these services, be careful how you buy them. You know, you may find that you can. For instance, I get my Max for free because I get it through AT&T, my subscription to AT&T. And what else? And then I get Disney Plus and the ESPN Plus because I subscribe to Hulu, and I have Hulu. What do you call it? With the where I get all the channels and everything like that. you know.
Hulu Plus,
Hulu Plus.
TV.
Yeah, with Hulu Plus, you get the whole Disney package at no extra cost. So you can somehow get a lot of these things without having to pay for them.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. I mean,
I just don't have the time to watch even what's on one of them.
Tell me about it.
Well,
And so I just don't subscribe to all these other ones. And it's great that you're actually subscribing and using them. I wouldn't use.
I got the email, the Gabnet subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
$5 a
Right?
week for you.
Yeah. Imagine it. You get 1,000. You got 5,000 Facebook. You got 1,300 people on YouTube. If you got a buck a piece,
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
He's looking.
They have these guys on YouTube.
As
They
much
say
as I
they-
hate YouTube, that's another thing I subscribe to. I subscribe to the $11 package for no
That
commercials
too.
on YouTube.
That's the best deal. That's the best deal ever.
Well, the reason is that I got so tired of having to see a commercial before I watch something that I prefer not to. And
Right.
I got to tell you, I watch so much YouTube that it's
too.
worth every penny. And I hate to say that because I hate them. I hate them.
I bought a car that is it's not intuitive. It's a 100-year-old car.
Oh, here we
And-
go again with the
And
100-year-old.
in order to drive it, I had to watch YouTube to figure out how to drive it because they trailered it to my store, and where you think the accelerator pedal is, that's the brake. The middle pedal, that's not the brake, that's reverse. And the pedal on the left, that's low gear. And the accelerator's on the steering wheel.
You need to go to
So
front.
I actually had
There's
to
a good
watch.
chance, ladies and gentlemen, that Phil may kill himself.
Okay.
Okay.
I drove it today. It was taking your heart and your hat in your hand there.
What kind of car is it?
It's a Model T, 1923.
Oh
I
boy.
heard of that.
He bought it for $10,000, but it's worth how much, Brian?
Probably 20. It was a frame off restoration. It's probably worth 20. They don't have a lot of value. It probably cost the guy 40 to restore
It
it.
doesn't matter how much it costs him to restore it.
I know. That's why I bought it for 10.
You know, it's worth what it's worth.
So I don't get any commercials with YouTube because I use ad blocker for YouTube on my browser.
No, but that's on your browser.
On
But
your
I watch
browser,
it- I
it's
watch
called
it- I wa-
ad blocker. That's all one
I
word.
watch this on my TV set.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't have a flat screen in the house, so I know how old-fashioned.
If I
that's-
can't watch something on my TV screens, I just don't watch it at all. You know.
Okay.
So there,
So there.
So there. But anyway, I mean, it just seems though it's costing us so much for everything. And people, I think at some point, a lot of these streaming services are going to go out of business because, I mean, why do I need the Discovery Channel? Why do I need this channel, that channel? I mean,
You know what I hate, Alex? I read an article. Let's say it's in the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. They make you pay for it.
So you read 3 articles, and then they want to
they
charge
want
you
to
a
pay
buck.
for it.
Then you want to read more, you gotta pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody wants money from you.
Yep.
Right.
Cable company recently did something different, Comcast Xfinity. So now my bill has got another $9 on it for the sports channels, and I don't watch sports.
Right.
And I'm like, I told them, take it off. I don't watch it. No, it's an automatic thing. All our customers, the FCC said it's okay to charge you. I'm like,
Really?
see, really? I mean, what the? So they're going to leave it on there.
Well, you know, it used to be for years, and it still is true. Do you know what the highest paid channel is that you're paying for? That you are paying for?
Something.
No, a Lifetime.
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 My mother loved that channel.
Yeah, but
I never watched it.
I never watched
What
it.
channel? I'm sorry, got talked
Do
over.
you know how much my cable system charges you because they have to
$12.
give it over? No, $9 a month
Nine.
for Lifetime. All the
I
rest
never
are
watched it.
cheap because they want to be on a system somewhere, you know, just so they can get their commercials watched.
What do you think they pay for QVC?
I don't know, but you know, you get free delivery, so you know, doesn't matter. But I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing. But it's amazing that all these companies now are. All of a sudden, Netflix does well, and every one of them wants the same model.
Right.
And so all of them join in and start the same model, and all of them are going to completely go broke because people are not going to be able to subscribe to all of them.
You remember when Netflix first came out? You got 4 or 5 discs, and then when you sent those CDs back or DVDs back,
Netflix rentals, yeah.
they let you.
Yeah, but
have
that was the old Netflix.
Before streaming.
Then they added Netflix streaming, and they started charging you for the streaming, and then that kind of evolved into what it is now.
And that's why they were able to
discs are
develop
going
that
away.
model.
What were you
just
saying,
kinda worked
Charlie?
out.
The discs are going away in September.
Yes,
They will no longer send you discs on DVD.
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, I mean, what? I don't think there's much business for it, is there?
what was the?
I used it. I've used it for
Blockbuster.
20 years.
Yeah, I'll go to Blockbuster and get my discs.
Yeah. Right.
Oregon.
Yeah. Right. Good luck with
Well,
that.
I mean, who buys discs anymore? Really, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I started buying them again.
you don't count the discs.
Look at how many. Well, you can't see it here.
Got discs
DVDs.
I started buying them
and your
again.
DVD player, you know.
I want to
You
watch
have-
what I want to watch without them.
we'll hold this up the backside. Sorry.
You know,
wanna
Tony
keep
says he's
going back.
buying discs now.
Yeah.
This is the guy that pays money for used comic books.
Well, I'm buying old TV shows again, Alex. You know why? I'm always tired of I'm on Amazon. I'd rather watch what I want to watch and always have to pay for it and have the seasons now. I bought the complete first season of The Fugitive. I started watching
And
that.
how much did that cost?
I have
you?
all of I Love Lucy on DVD. I'm done watching it. You
I like popping it in and watching what I want when I want to watch it.
Now I know who to send it to.
Why don't you guys exchange DVDs?
Oh, you want it?
Oh, I did that and never got back a bunch, so I don't know.
Well,
No, I
Alan
wanna
has
get
late
rid of
fees. You know,
Yeah.
he's got the Blockbuster mentality. He charges late fees when he
Remember, you
borrow
please
it.
be
What's,
kind.
happened,
when you
what's happened to me now is I have to pay for Amazon now because before I was on Shecky's account.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, because
Oh, did you hear they're stopping all of that shared account now?
no,
go.
that's
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's stopping that too, yeah.
no, that's on Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Netflix, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
but I
like Costco. Costco's stopping it too.
Costco too. Costco. Well, yeah.
What? I can't have my wife
I
on
never
my
share
account.
I love
anyway.
the
I
Costco.
don't think so.
Not for long.
Hey, wait, I'm playing the theme, by the way.
Oh, we heard it.
Really? Oh
You
man.
tell Alex about your weightlifting, Phil.
He knows.
He's like Baby
Nobody
Hercules.
started yelling at Phil during this show. How strange.
Oh,
Baby
wow.
Hercules. we'll call
Well,
him.
anyway, have a good time tomorrow night beating up on the old guys, Phil.
Let him win, for God's sake.
Thank you
Come
for
on.
calling. Jeff, thank you for being here with us tonight. Charlie, always a pleasure to have you here. And I wish I could say the same about Phil, but you know. Also, thank you very much to Alan and to Tony. Hey, Tony, good having you
Hey.
here. Yes.
I'll call you tomorrow. I'll tell you something. I was watching a good TV show, Alex.
Oh, okay, well, call me tomorrow. Tell
I'll
me
go tomorrow.
about the good TV show you were watching. And
Lucky.
also, Brian, thank you. And good luck with your daughter. I hope she wins
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. So They'll do good. They did really good today. So
Okay, everybody, give a big wave goodbye. I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. And there they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. There's another one coming right up with Jack Bishop and the Intersection. He'll be doing it on Skype at Gabnet Live. I'll see you again tomorrow night right here, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.